Alan, nice to talk to you as always. Tell me whether or not the special counsel should be permitted to release the report. That would be through the Attorney General. I'm typically for transparency, but this is such a one-sided document that I have a real hard time thinking that this should be released because there's no ability to refute it.
It absolutely should not be released. Prosecutors have one job, yes or no, indict or not indict. We know the problems that were caused in the past with Hillary Clinton's candidacy when the head of the FBI went beyond yes or no and gave an opinion that affected the election. These reports, sure, we need transparency, but these reports shouldn't exist. They should be private documents sent to the Attorney General, but the public shouldn't be watching how the salami is made. That's an inside matter, and we shouldn't be hearing one-sided material, just like grand jury minutes are not revealed because they're one-sided. These absurd one-sided reports should never be revealed to the public. Oh, they should be put in archives and available to historians for 20 years later, but they shouldn't be able to impact the lives of living human beings who can be affected without an opportunity to respond. So I'm hoping that the courts will see through this transparent attempt to try to just smear the incoming president.
Well, this report, because it's put together by an advocate, Special Counsel Jack Smith, who's now no longer Special Counsel, but it cherry picks which testimony to highlight, cherry picks what witnesses to put in the report. It cherry picks everything. And he also, at least in DC, he filed a very extensive pleading that was released by the judge in October. It was about 165 pages. So, to me, it's like it is so grossly unfair and absurd.
And it's protected from defamation. If it were just him giving a statement, then he could be sued if he lied or if he misrepresented the facts. But because it's in a government document, it's believed to be true. It can be totally false, and it can destroy the reputation of people. Forget about the president. This could happen to anybody if you have reports released about them or grand jury, one-sided grand jury testimony revealed about them without an opportunity to respond. We believe in the adversarial system. This violates the adversary system by its one-sidedness and the imprimatur of the government being placed on it. This is not really a government document. This is one-sided, much like the January 6th Congressional Committee, which wouldn't allow Republicans really to serve on it effectively, and then they released their reports. The public is entitled to transparency, but the transparent results must be fair to everybody.
As I understand it, now he has an obligation to prepare the report, but whether to release it lies with the Attorney General of the United States. And so that he will make the mistake, he will make the decision rather, as to whether release or not, which I think will tell a lot about Attorney General Merrick Garland.
But he's already made the decision. He has said publicly he will release the report, as I understand it. Now, maybe he'll change his mind as the result of the lawsuit that's been filed. Already a stay has been granted, and the case will be taken to the appellate courts. And this will raise an interesting issue because it does create a conflict between transparency on the First Amendment on the one hand, and also the right to be protected from defamatory and one-sided material on the other hand. It's just the kind of thing a court should be deciding.
And there are two tracks here. You've got the DC report with the January 6th proceeding, and you've got the classified documents out of Florida, which the federal judge has now put the stay on because there's still, that's not closed. That case isn't closed because there's still two active defendants in it. It's been dismissed as to Trump, but the other two are looped into it in a very live criminal action.
Well, it should be dismissed as to the others, too, because they were investigated and prosecuted by the same person who prosecuted and indicted Trump. So I would think eventually it will be dismissed against them all, but they don't have immunity. Trump does. But the other issue about whether or not Jack Smith was properly appointed under the Constitution, that applies to all the defendants.
What grade would you give Merrick Garland as Attorney General?
It's so disappointing to me. I like Merrick Garland very much. I thought he was a great judge. I thought he should be on the Supreme Court. I supported his Supreme Court appointment. He has been so disappointing. He never should have taken this job. His background didn't equip him.
People think news just happens. It doesn't. It happens because there's someone there to capture the moment, to explain it and share it. That's my job. I go where news breaks and give you the facts. Join me for The Record on Newsmax.